I'm Susan Carlson. Welcome to my studio. Some of you may be familiar with Stevie, the saltwater crocodile, otherwise known as Crocodylus smylus. But you may not know, unless you saw her in person, how many sheer and glitzy fabrics that I used in the making of her. Take, for example, this lovely pink and black leopard print tulle, very translucent. I can use this right up here, and I used a piece of it right in this area to help add to the pink blush of her cheeks. Then we have this black with a little bit of gold running through it. That was used right up here to help in the shadowed area, but it also brought a little texture that looked a bit like crocodile skin. Then you've got this beauty. This now is something you may not look twice at, but it's got a great crocodile-like texture. And little bits of it right along here helped to add a highlight on her lower lips. Now this has a bit of a floral, lacy look to it, but it's got light areas and dark areas that I can use to my advantage. You can see I cut mostly the light areas, adds a highlight all the way down on that edge. Now here is the same as that green I showed you, except it's a purple variety. And this one I used up here on her folds of neck to bring a little highlight on the fold and a little color. You can see I just cut a strip of it. A strip is all you need of something like that. Now another one that adds a highlight is this larger mesh metallic that I added also as a highlight on her leg. So here now you can see how that adds a little more of a highlight because it's a denser weave. So those are some of the highlights that I used. Now there's a few shadows. This fabric I always love using as a shadow. It's black tulle with flocked spots on it, so it's kind of fuzzy, which is fun. And that, one of the areas I used on here was the shadow on the leg. You can see how those spots add a nice extra patterning to the area, as well as a little darkening. Now, these have been sheer fabrics, very sheer and translucent. This one is a little more opaque, which also comes in handy, but you can kind of see my hand through it. And look at those great spots. It also has a texture which looks a bit crocodile-like. Here you can see where I've used part of the dark. I just cut out a spot from the fabric and then laid it on top of the base that was already there. And because the edges are light, they start blending in, and it makes a nice extra spot on the belly, and also starts with allowing some of the fabric underneath to show through. And then the last one I'm going to show you today is this one here. It's a camouflage print. Comes in handier than you'd think that they're going to, because it's just got a great overall texture and it's blue, even better. So here you can see one of the places I used it on the leg. Again, just cutting out a spot of it, a patch, laying it over top. You can still see some of that green from underneath showing through, especially in the dark areas, but then the light areas reflect more light. Add a little bit of a mottled tone, but kind of an overall darkening of the area, which I want to be darker because it's the leg that's under her light belly. So that shows you a little bit of how I use some of these great sheer and translucent fabrics in my pieces, and it might be something that you might like to try in yours.